We often think of our most valuable asset being our home, being our car, maybe being our investment portfolio, but none of those hold a candle to our ability to earn an income. And one of the biggest things that can cost you money in the long run is if something happens to your ability to earn that income. This can cost you hundreds, thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars if you don't take the proper steps to make sure that your ability to earn an income is protected. Assalamu alaikum everyone, Jesse here with Canadian Islamic Wealth. I hope you guys are having a great day. As I mentioned, we're going to be talking about how to protect yourself and protect your earning power over the long term so that you don't end up in a situation where you can't afford to live, retire, whatever the case may be. But before I get into it, it really helps me out a lot if you would hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so that you can come back for more videos. So let's look a little bit of statistics. The average Canadian earns approximately $61,000 a year. The average Canadian living with a disability earns approximately $40,000 a year. If we take 10% of that average income every single year and invest it from the age of 35 to 65, you're going to see a $400,000 difference between the person who is disabled and the person who isn't. And one of the things that we can do to protect ourselves from this is take some level of disability insurance. Look at this example. Let's say you have a $500,000 home and a $60,000 vehicle. Obviously, you would want to have some type of insurance on that to make sure that if it burned to the ground or you got into a car accident, you would be covered. But we don't take the time to insure our most valuable asset, and that's our ability to earn an income. So if we look at this example, this person is earning $75,000 a year, and they get a 2% salary increase for the next 25 years. That's $1.5 million earned. Let's be honest, accidents happen all the time, whether it's car accidents, whether it is accidents involving you at your job, whatever the case may be. When these accidents occur, the reality is it does have an impact on your ability to earn an income. Even if you're only hurt for a short period of time, this can be significant when it comes to your savings and investments over the long term. As I mentioned, the average cost to a Canadian could be approximately $400,000 over a 30-year period because you don't have the same amount of money to invest. Now again, this makes the assumption that you can even afford to invest when you're in that average $40,000 a year range. Many people can't, depending on where you live. But around that $60,000 range is when people can start affording to put some money away. So it's one of these things that $400,000 works out if the math is there and if people can actually afford to put money away. But the truth is most people living at $40,000 a year or less can't really afford to put money away anyway. So the cost will probably be even greater. Now let's talk about professionals. A lot of you out there who went to school to become a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, whatever the case may be, you've taken on a lot of debt and you've worked really, really hard in order to have this above average level of income. But the fact of the matter is that if you get disabled, it's going to hit you even harder. You have student loans to repay, which are usually astronomical. The average med student in Canada graduates with over $160,000 in student loan debt. And you have to protect your ability to earn the salary of a physician so that your family can be taken care of. And most of you don't actually have this type of thing covered through your job because you end up in a position where you are kind of independent. You are an independent contractor, you go based on fee for service, different things like that, as opposed to someone who works a job and has a set salary. Some of that stuff can be covered through their work, but for physicians, for dentists, for a lot of lawyers that I know, it's never taken care of. And so if you were to get disabled to a point where you can't practice medicine, where you can't practice dentistry, or you can't practice the profession that you went to school to practice, it can cost you in the millions of dollars. The average physician salary in Canada is $216,000. So if we take that average physician salary of $216,000 a year and we invest 10% of that per year, comparatively to the average Canadian, you're talking about $1,800 a month in investing versus $500 a month in investing over a 30-year period. That can be a difference of almost $3 million of wealth for a professional physician. That is why I highly recommend looking at some form of disability insurance. Now, a lot of you are going to come at me, well, bro, Jesse, I've got this through my work. I've got a plan through my work. I've got whatever. Blah, blah, blah. No, you don't. You don't. You don't have that type of plan through work. Listen, I've been doing this for about 10 years, and every single time I've seen people who say they have something through work, they don't. They've got maybe $1,000, $2,000 a month in coverage. By the way, a lot of companies are doing away with the group disability plans altogether just because of how expensive it is to run it. But even if you do, right? The people that typically do have government jobs, right? If you work for the government of Canada, the government of Manitoba, you're probably okay there. But if you work for a private company, unless it's a gigantic company, you're not covered. I can assure you, you are not covered. And so what happens is a lot of you guys will think that you're covered, that if you were to get disabled, you're going to get some money coming in the door if you can't do your job, when the reality is that's not going to happen. You're not going to be covered. And even if you are, it's usually a small amount of money, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, which doesn't help at all. And then, there's a lot of conditions involved. It's tied to short-term benefits, like it only lasts 6 months. Maybe it's a long-term thing, but it only lasts a few years. Whatever that is, you're not covered enough. What I recommend is getting something in place that'll cover you until you reach the age of 65. If you get disabled to a point where you can't do anything, you're going to be so glad that you did. Now, if you would like a free quote and a free second opinion on your group plans, on your current coverage, whatever it is that you need, feel free to click the link below and book a free call with us at CanadianIslamicWealth.com. I'd be happy to share any information that you need in order to make the most informed decision possible. I hope this helps. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.